Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. On to this episode, I wanted to talk a little bit. This is not going to be a very long video. Inshallah, I'm going to try to make it short, but God knows sometimes I can go on and on and on. But I wanted to talk a little bit about pretty much what Donald Trump said. And the rumor out there is that he is pretty much contemplating the idea of involving boots on the ground when it comes to the Iran conflict. And I just want to make a little quick video about how that is a really, really bad idea. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, but before I show it, this is so before I go to the video, which is this one right here, and then I'm gonna contemplate on it. Not contemplate, I'm sorry. I'm gonna give my commentary on it. I just wanted to go ahead and share this little 15-second clip right here. If this is true, this changes everything. Because if this is true and it hits mainstream media and family starts to ask where their husband is, where their kids are, where their daughters are, it's gonna be a freaking disaster. And it's gonna be a huge bad PR. With that being said, so according to Earth Hippie here, is he right? Could America have lost 1,200 soldiers in war in 1 week? I think the number is lower, but much higher than the official 6 soldiers. I genuinely do think that it's way more than 6 soldiers. I'm gonna go ahead and say that is it 1,200? Who knows? Nobody really knows what the actual number is. Now, the reason why I believe that it's more than 6 is because you guys have to understand that the attack on Iran was spontaneous. This was something in which they didn't want to tell anybody. They didn't want to tell the mainstream media. It was in a very, very small circle. Why do you think it didn't go through Congress? Why do you think Donald Trump didn't go through Congress to try to approve of the war that is now going on in Iran? So I believe the number is high because once the strike happened, Iran just started going ballistic. They just started raining missiles down on all the bases in the region. And of course, this did not give enough time for a lot of their soldiers to get out of the way. All right. Maybe some of them probably got caught while they were sleeping. This happened on Friday night. You guys have to remember that. Actually, wait. So Friday nights here, it would have been daytime over there. So yeah, it was broad daylights over there. But you get the idea, right? And so it was pretty much spontaneous. And let's hear it.
About 1,200 American soldiers have died, according to the reports that I've been hearing. To put that in perspective, that is about half as many soldiers that died in Afghanistan in 2 decades of war. It's only been a week. About 12.
Yeah, so all in all, I'm not surprised. Secondly, if it is true, I will go ahead and well, actually, I don't believe that 12. I don't think 1,200 died. I think it's probably a little bit less than that. But one thing that you guys have to understand is that the Israeli are a bunch, they're snakes. Okay, these people are snakes. If you learned a little bit of history, especially when it comes to the USR Liberty, you will understand that the Israelis have the tendency of pretty much bombing their friends, bombing their neighbors, just to get other countries to get involved in the war. Just recently, I heard they attacked some British military bases in Cyprus. Also, there's rumor that there were rockets coming from Israel to go and blow up some oil refinery in Saudi Arabia. Sorry, in the UAE. So again, it won't be far-fetched. And so you got to understand that with this war, with the Iranian war, there's going to be a lot of false flag. There's going to be a lot of false information, and there's going to be a lot of manipulation to try to get other countries to be involved. Okay. And so let me go ahead and let this video right here play out. And I'm just going to give my commentary throughout the video. And so, sorry, my picture's in a way, but it says, if USA send ground forces into Iran, what will happen?
America is planning to send ground forces into Iran, and I will explain why this might be a catastrophic mistake.
Oh, yeah.
Because Iran is not like Iraq, it is built like a fortress. Let's start with the west and southwestern side. Iran's entire western edge is protected by the Zagros mountain range. This mountain range stretches along the border with Iraq
and so in my previous video, that's exactly what I was trying to put a lot of emphasis on. Is that, again, this is a mountainous region. The only way for America to pretty much attack it is via revolution that's going to happen inside of Iran. And that's what they tried doing. And it failed, obviously. And so now they have no other backup plan, which is why they spontaneously attacked Iran by killing Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran.
reaches toward Turkey. The terrain here is rocky, high, and brutal. It is not just mountains, it is endless choke points, narrow passes, and perfect ambush territory.
Oh, yeah.
We have already seen what happens here when in 1980, Iraq invaded Iran. Iraq had a clear plan. It wanted to capture the oil-rich province of Khuzestan and then push deeper to crush Iran's revolution. Iraq had tanks, manpower, and support. But for years, the war got stuck. Iraqi
yeah.
forces reached the flatter areas near Khuzestan, but crossing the Zagros and moving toward Iran's core was a nightmare. And as a result, after 8 years, the war ended without a result. That is what the Zagros does. It slows down armies until they bleed. Now look to the north. Along the Caspian side sits the
Yeah, and also they're trying to get the Kurds to also. America is trying to arm the Kurds, which are a bunch of people who do not have a state that are pretty much scattered on the western side of Iran. So, in conclusion, America is promising the Kurds, hey, if you help us fight Iran after the war's over, we're gonna promise you a state. This is like what happened during the time when Britain was a superpower and they got power over Palestine. They started promising a lot of different group of people saying, hey, if you help us win this fight, we will give you this part of the land, we'll give you Palestine. And obviously we are all aware of the infamous letter, Dear Lord Rothschild. If you haven't read that letter, it was a letter that was pretty much promising the Rothschild Palestine. So in conclusion, Palestine was promised to the Rothschild. And so that's what we see now. But, I digress. If the Kurds get involved in this, they're just going to be ground up into meat. That's all I got to say. Okay? It's stupid for them to join it. It's very, very stupid for them to join it.
Elborz Mountains, another natural wall. These mountains make ground invasion from the northern side extremely difficult, so Iran is protected from 2 directions by mountain barriers. But even if a foreign army somehow crosses the coastline, fights through the mountains and enters Iran's interior, the geography becomes hostile again. Iran has massive desert regions, like the Lut Desert, which is known for extreme heat, as temperatures here can reach up to 70 degrees. This is not a terrain where large armies can move easily. It destroys vehicles, strains supply lines, and exhaust troops. This is why Iran has historically been so hard to conquer. Iran is not one open plain. It is layers of natural defenses, mountains, deserts, and long distances. So if America sends ground forces into Iran, it is not just choosing a war. It is choosing a war where geography itself fights back. And that is exactly how superpowers make catastrophic mistakes.
And also keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that America is low on ammunition. Okay? And now on top of that, the soldiers are demoralized because they understand that they're not fighting because Iran is a threat to America, but rather it is a fight to protect the pedophile island, which is Israel. Okay, a bunch of pedophiles over there that is going to be protecting. The soldiers pretty much understand that this is a war for the Epstein class. With that being said, they are going to be fighting against people who believe that dying to protect their home is martyrdom. They are now fighting people who are not afraid of death. I mean, this battle, in conclusion, what I'm trying to tell you is that we are now seeing the downfall of an empire, which is the United States of America. And I have made videos in the past criticizing this because we know that if America is to collapse, they are trying to create a Pax Judaica. They are trying to make Israel the next superpower. That's what they're trying to do. If Benjamin Netanyahu knows that this is a losing battle for America, this is going to drain America so much. 20 years war in Afghanistan and Iraq. Look what that did to it. Trillions of dollars were spent. And like the video that I just showed you guys about how much was it? Not even 5,000 soldiers dies in that war, in the 20-year war. Now imagine having to fight this. People, this is not Iraq and Iran. This is not that. These Iranians are a lot more sophisticated. So they're going to be dealing with people who are sophisticated, dealing with an environment that is harsh, both in mountainous region and in the heat, fighting against a group of people who have been planning this for over 4 decades. Their word, not mine. They've been planning this war, not planning, but they've been getting ready for this war for 4 decades. And then on top of that, America is also being drained. America is running out of ammunition. because it was giving out rockets here and there like it was candy, giving giving some to Ukraine, giving a whole bunch of them to Israel, so that way they can go and bomb and destroy innocent lives. America is not in a position that is ready to fight this war. Literally, these soldiers are gonna be, they're gonna go die. I'm sorry to say it, they're gonna go die. Anyways, I've went on. That's gonna be it for this video, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you learned something from this whole entire region. It is amazing to be alive at this time because we are literally seeing the destruction of an empire right before our own eyes. From here, it's just gonna escalate. The world will never be the same again after this. I'll catch you guys up later. Assalamu alaikum.